I missed the tale about the puppy dog.
Well, here you go. Tell it.
You tell it. I don't know it.
Well, there you go. You tell it real loud. She wants to get it on camera. Oh, my Lord. Well, tell it.
Tell us about them puppies.
Well, upon a time, there was two little boys, and they had a puppy dog that was awful pretty and an awful pet. They just thought the world of it. Well, that little dog, it grew a long tail. And his tail was long, and when it walked, it dragged the ground.
Yeah, I gotta know.
So one day, little boys, they decided they'd cut that tail off. So they got them razor blades down that little old dog, and they cut its tail off, and its grandmother, she happened to see him or find it out. Anyway, she got on to him about it, and she made him dig a hole, big old deep hole in the ground, and put that dog's tail in it and buried it. So that's the end of the dog tail. Everybody talking about the puppy dog. That was the end of it. Yeah, they told you that. We left there yesterday.
One time, Wayman and me went to church over at the Baptist church in Black Bottom. And before we went to church, we thought we was putting hair tonic on our hair. And we picked up the wrong bottle and we just soaked the hair in that shampoo. And we got over there and we walked two girls home that night, and coming on back, it went to raining, and suds just started building up on her head, and it started running down her cheeks and around the ears. We didn't know what to think. We got back home, looked at that bottle, we found out what was wrong.
What did the girls say?
Hello. We done dropped the girls off.
Hello.
I have a lot of them.
I know you do.
My favorite one, I guess my favorite one, and the one I tell the most, is going to Mama Small's house and eating her green grape pie. Not many people remember green grape pie, but Mama Small could make the best green grape pie, and she'd always call and say she had my pie made for me. And I'd go up there and eat it and go back home on my bicycle. And then Papa, he would always take us to the field. We'd be hoeing cotton, and we would ask him, say, Papa, can't we go eat dinner yet? And he'd look up at the sky and say, no, Mama Small doesn't have dinner ready yet. And we couldn't figure out how he knew she didn't have dinner on the table, because we were just little kids. But every time we'd get to the house, she'd have it ready for us. And Papa used to eat his peas on a knife. On a knife. And he'd always stand at the freezer like this, so he could hear. Do you remember him with his hand cut behind his ear? Yeah. But he couldn't hear it thunder, because I know when the tractor come unhitched from the trailer when we was going down a hill, and he didn't hear us holler at him. But he beat us down to the field. That was funny.
I can't talk.
Yes, you can. All you got to do is just tell us some of your fondest memories.
Well, I had a lot of good moments with all my brothers and sisters. When I was the oldest one, I guess I had to kind of just watch over them sometimes. But we always had a lot of fun and a good time. I think I had some real good brothers and sisters. Mama raised a big family, and I know she had a hard time, but I had to help her. So, just a small family, but a large crowd.
Well, I don't know about at Christmas time, but probably the time that I remember most coming down is when Daddy Small passed away, and we came from Michigan down here in 1967. and we ran into a snowstorm, and the National Guard pulled everybody off the road, and we had to spend the night in the school gym. And they'd had a ball game there, and they wouldn't let anybody go home. So they had another ball game, and the band played and all kinds of things. And the next morning, they said anybody has an emergency can go through. So we went through, and they just barely had room for one car to pass. Got about 20 miles down the road and ran totally out of the snow.
I see when I was a little girl, Wyman, he had a pretty high temper.
Sure has. You say that.
Elizabeth. Now we're getting it started. This is what
He did. He had a lot of temper, and I was out there in the yard, and he got mad at me about something. Now I can't tell you what that was, but he threw a brick at me.
Yeah.
You remember that?
I don't know.
I thought it was corn cob.
It's a brick. It didn't hit me, but he did. We had a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, what about my mama and you and Holes?
Done what now?
What about my mother, you, and a hole? What
Oh, yeah.
In a hole.
Yeah, you know that story.
Oh, in a hole. Oh, I got the star to prove it right here. Took 15 stitches to sew it up. Elizabeth,
Hey, it's my
I
time.
told her
Okay.
to get on the bottom side of the row. It'd be easier for her to hold. And she wouldn't do it. So I reached over and punched her with my hoe handle, and she turned around, and I had just filed the hose good and sharp. And she swung at me, and I threw my hoe up like that, and it hung on the handle of my hoe and come right down on my arm.
Well, he don't like for nobody to tell him what to do, and he still don't.
And she don't either.
The funniest thing I can remember when we're all together at Mama Smalls and Daddy Smalls was one Christmas when everybody was leaving. It was, I believe it was Helen or some of her kids had started to leave, and they had put their cake on top of the car, and they had started all the way down the road, and that cake just started sliding. Everybody started screaming, "What? Stop, stop, the cake's fixing to fall off." So they stopped and got the cake before it fell off.
Well, I'll tell you one better than that. Mama made a big old banana pudding one weekend, and she decided she wanted to set it out on the steps and let it cool. Well, we had an old cat running around there. That old cat started in the house, and he just got right in the middle of that banana pudding and went on in the house. Made Mama so mad she couldn't see straight.
I don't have no idea. I can't remember that far back. I know I raised 4 kids. I adopted 2 and raised them, and then took on 2 more great-grandchildren and raised them. So I think I've done pretty good.
If you come right this way, we have, I know, but I'm just saying, this is Barbara. She's related to our family in some way, and this is a little, and this is...
I am your mother's first cousin. Your Aunt Helen, your grandmama Helen, I'm sorry, is my Aunt Helen.
Amazing.
And this is Joshua.
Hello.
Say hi. Say hi.